Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we've got something super cool today. As you can see, we've got a brand new Hiya Toys release that has just begun shipping from Big Bad Toy Store. This is obviously the 1991 version of King Ghidorah, and this is a very exciting version for me. It's the first time that I've had a different version other than like the legendary King Ghidorah, so I'm really excited to now have this figure here to open up and take a look at with you guys. As far as the box art goes, you can see a really cool shot of the figure there on the front of the box. Over on the side, again, pretty much just the standard stuff you would expect, and then here on the back, a nice little image and everything, and some standard information. So let's go ahead, pop this box open. We'll get this thing out here on the review station and take a closer look. So here is our King Ghidorah now out of the box, and honestly looking incredible here before me. And one thing I was really excited about the moment I opened the box is the fact that I did not have to attach the tails. If you happen to have purchased the older version, or like technically in a way it's the newer version because the newer design from, you know, the legendary version of King Ghidorah, if you happen to have purchased either of the two different versions of that, you will know that putting the tails on was an absolute nightmare. It was so complicated, and I remember stressing massively when trying to do that. Well, luckily for this new version, the tails are already attached straight out of the packaging, so super excited about that. Have to give some massive props to Hiya Toys for that. But let's go ahead, readjust the camera, and bring it in for a closer look. So starting here in the head sculpt of one of the three different heads, you can see it looks really nice. The fine detail is beyond impressive. The overall design looks spot on. If you ask me, from what I can recall, you've got all sorts of really impressive, very vibrant scale detail. The eyes also look beyond impressive as well. Like, you've got some nice reddish tones, some yellow, black pupil, and a gorgeous gloss coat in there, making it all shine very nicely. As you lead up here into the back of the head, you've got all of those spikes leading out of the back of the head, those kind of like horns there on the back of King Ghidorah's head. Of course, you can articulate the jaw. Inside the mouth, we've got the teeth all sculpted out. They're all curved. I don't remember if the design actually did have them curved, but they are definitely curved. They must have, because they all have that going on. I can see that on the head further back. But you can see the teeth are painted with kind of like a lightish brown sort of tone. And the inside of the mouth has a nice dark pinkish tone in there. Oh, we have the tongue hiding up here. Let's see if we can get that down. So there we go. We've got the tongue pulled down. We can see our very reptilian tongue with the split there at the end. We can also see there is a nice wash to the inside of the mouth as well. So it is really fun to be able to articulate the tongue. You can push it all the way down if you want, and of course have it up so it looks like it's roaring or letting out some vocalization. Not that King Ghidorah necessarily roars, but we've got some really nice paintwork and detail for the upper side of the inside of the mouth there as well. And of course the jaw works really nicely. As you move back into the neck, you start to see all of the articulated joints, which there are a ton. I'm not even going to begin to try counting them, but they do start up here and lead all the way down through the neck. And because you have that many joints, you can get some really, really nice posability in the neck of King Ghidorah. Like, it can go pretty much anywhere and everywhere you could possibly want it to go when it comes to those necks. So as you can see, the display possibilities and display options and everything are pretty much endless when it comes to this King Ghidorah. It is super nicely done, and it's very smooth. As we move along, of course, you have two other heads for King Ghidorah here that you can see look just as impressive as the first head. Super nice paintwork for the eyes of all three. Very precise, very nicely placed. Once you come here to the front, you can see again each one of the heads look pretty much the same here as you move through, but all of the detail again is absolutely gorgeous as you move through. I'm also curious how we can get the neck straight out. I didn't really check that before, the wings getting in the way there. Oh, look at that. You can bend the neck down, like bring the neck down and bend it up and stuff. Man, there's some really cool poses you could definitely pull off. That's like the perfect position for like that flying pose right there. Really love the articulation on these figures. You also have some spikes that move along the back of the neck of King Ghidorah. Basically some ridges that follow along the back of the neck as you move down into the body. Of course, the primary tone of color for King Ghidorah is a gold. We also have these kind of softer style scoots here on the underside of the figure as well. As you lead down, the skin texture continues to look absolutely fantastic and extremely impressive as a whole when it comes to just how vibrant the detail looks. As you move back up here toward the top, you can see the beginning of the wing as you lead up, again filled with those scales, looking really nice. But as you move out into the actual wing, as you can see, it becomes a much finer, smoother sort of style texturing, as you have all of the kind of like digits here of the wing kind of leading out. You do also, of course, have articulation right here in the wing. So as you can see, you can move the wing down as I hit the camera with it, and then you can move the wing up pretty nicely. The wing is also very flexible. I don't know if it's a wire. Oh, it definitely seems like it is. Oh, absolutely. So you can see it stays exactly in place. So you do have wire wings for King Ghidorah as well. I don't know if you can spin them. No, it doesn't seem like you can. Just basically this little area of articulation back and forth, and then of course the ability to articulate the wings with the wire aspect. As you move down, you do also have a little section of midsection articulation right here, which you can see basically rotates the upper portion of King Ghidorah very nicely on a swivel. I don't know if we have much in the way of up and down. Oh yeah, you can see you can get a little bit of up and down, maybe even a little more once I actually wear it in. Again, it is straight out of the box, so sometimes the articulation does need time to be worn in. As you move down, you can see the belly of King Ghidorah as well. Again, looking really good, really crisp skin texture on this. As we lead down into the legs, we can get a good feel for the musculature. We can also see that, of course, we have more articulation forward and back with the leg, which is really nice. Also out away from the body. I feel like the articulation of this figure is even smoother than I'm used to for Hiya Toys. It's almost on like SH Monster Art's smooth level. Again, I do have a SH Monster Arts Godzilla, and I was so blown away with how smooth the articulation was and how easy it was to move on that Godzilla. But honestly, the articulation on this King Ghidorah is pretty much just as smooth. As far as the knee area, you can see you've got a spot above and below the knee, so you can articulate the leg forward and back. You can also swivel that area. Maybe we could swivel that a little bit, but I don't think it goes the entire way. As you move down, you've got another section right here which can swivel, and then another spot here, which I'm going to have to try to re-grab this in a different spot. You've got a spot right here which can swivel, and all of those areas, again, articulate together, which you can see right there. So definitely a great figure for a little stop motion animation if you choose to do that sort of thing. As you move down, you've got the toes sculpted beautifully. We can also see the claws sculpted nicely. They are painted with a light tone, and they do feature a little bit of a satin shine, which is definitely a plus. And then we move back up here into the tail of King Ghidorah, which again, so happy the tail was automatically connected from the start. I didn't have to do it myself because it was such a pain to do it before. But just like with the neck, you can see you've got tons of articulated joints leading the entire way out through that extremely long tail. And then we have the ending here of the tail, which almost looks a little bit like a pineapple, which I never really noticed before. But it looks pretty nice. Again, you've got all of the spikes here on the end. Again, the really vibrant skin texture. And just like with the neck area, you can get some really impressive poses and articulation for the tails. As you can see, they can move pretty much all over the place, anywhere and everywhere you would like. They seem to have the ability to move. So definitely really nice articulation. Same deal, of course, for the opposing tail over there. And the sculpt of the other tail is going to look exactly as the sculpt did on this side. Moving down along the underside, again, super nice looking detail. This one really shines because it has such a strong gold to it. It will really stand out on your shelf, no doubt about that. And then when we come around to the back and we lead up there into the back of the wings, you can see that the gold again really shines. You can also see how nice all of the skin texture and everything looks the entire way up through the back of King Ghidorah. You also have a little spot here which can swivel, and I would think that most of the joints in the tail could probably swivel. Maybe not. Some of them definitely can. I don't know if all of them can, but again, the articulation is absolutely incredible on this King Ghidorah, and the entire sculpt as well is incredible. As far as a size goes, if we actually stretch that tail out nice and just put it down on the ground, we go way back there from the back of the tail. We'll go to the middle head because that one is stretched. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and stretch the head out all the way as much as I can to kind of get just like the maximum length for this figure. So, in the position it's in, once the tail's down on the ground and that head is extended, you are looking at about just a little under 23.5 inches or around 59.5 centimeters. Now, for a height, the highest point would definitely be the wings, and if we push the wing up all the way, and we get that wing really tall, now, of course, you can't really see it, but in the position it's currently in, about 13 3/4 inches or around 35 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being, next to our gigantic King Ghidorah. And if I actually bring the camera up just a little bit more, there we go. That really shows the almost the entire body of King Ghidorah there next to these others, really giving you a good feel for how large this is. Then a few more comparisons. We have the King of the Monsters Godzilla from Hiya Toys, which we can see this. Godzilla is one of the, actually I would say the largest from Hiya Toys that I have so far, and it is significantly smaller, of course, than King Ghidorah. And of course, that's not going to improve when I bring in the 2014 Godzilla from Hiya Toys, which is a smaller version of Godzilla than the King of the Monsters release, and you can see that one as well. Again, quite a lot smaller. We've also got my only SH Monster Arts Godzilla, and again, just like you would expect, the King Ghidorah is a lot bigger. And if we actually bring in the legendary version of King Ghidorah from Hiya Toys next to the 1991 version, you can see that the legendary version is actually a little bit bigger. I was kind of expecting, for some reason, the 1991 version to be bigger. Just holding it here, it really felt like it was larger. It definitely has a lot more length to it. Those tails are significantly longer than what we have on the legendary version, but there's just a little more body mass, a little more wingspan, and maybe even a little more height on the legendary version. Doesn't really look like it with the wing being up so high right now on the 1991 version, but that's just because of the positioning it's in. Overall, the two King Ghidorahs are pretty close to being the same size, with just a little bit more, I think, to the legendary release. So this is an absolutely beautiful Hiya Toys release, definitely a very nice version of the 1991 version of King Ghidorah. Sculpt-wise, I think it looks beyond impressive. It is extremely screen accurate from what I recall. It's been a little while since I watched that film, I will say that, but it definitely looks as I remember it, and it looks really, really nice here in hand. The skin texture is extremely well done. It's also very vibrant. The fine detail of the Hiya Toys figures never ceases to impress, and that's exactly the same case with this King Ghidorah. The paintwork, you know, there's not really a whole lot to it. There's not much to this King Ghidorah in general, as it really only has like a gold tone of color, and then of course you have the paintwork for the inside of the mouth and the eyes. There's no like washes or anything that have been applied to this, but even remembering back to the movie, I don't really remember there being like a dirty sort of appearance to this King Ghidorah. Maybe it's been a little bit, again, I mean, it's definitely been a little bit since I've seen it. Maybe I need to go back and remember and look at it again, but I feel like it didn't really have much when it comes to variation of color, and really did only have just a golden sort of a look, and that's really what we have here. So I, at first looking at it, was like, you know what, maybe they skimped out on like a wash, which could have helped the figure look a little bit better, especially when it comes to like the scales and the kind of scoot-like scales moving along the underside, but it is what it is. I think it actually looks really nice with the paintwork that has been given to it, and again, pretty much just as I recall in the film. The articulation is also fantastic. There's a lot of it. It's very smooth, maybe the smoothest articulation that I've had so far on any Hiya Toys Godzilla release, which of course is a massive plus. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it on Big Bad Toy Store, where I purchased mine. So check that link, pick this up if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.